for tuning in to another episode of Disrupt Health Tech. I am your host, Wendy Austin, and today we are going to hear about a new innovative approach using AI to combat physician burnout. With me today is Zaman Shah, who is a physician of internal medicine and founder of MEDWAY. Zaman, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us about your company, MEDWAY?
Absolutely. Thank you, Wendy. I'm Zaman Shah, a physician, founder and CEO of MEDWAY, with nearly 15 years of experience as a physician and leader. I have seen firsthand how the ever-increasing and overwhelming burden of documentation, compliance, and fragmented data systems is distancing physicians from their core purpose, which is taking care of patients. And this is really the insight that became the seed for MEDWAY. So MEDWAY is a physician-led healthcare AI startup that is dedicated to making healthcare simpler, smarter, and more compassionate. With a deep understanding of clinicians' challenges, we are building a holistic AI solution that truly enables them to deliver compassionate, patient-centered care. And really, at MEDWAY, we don't just think of ourselves as a solution, but truly a vision and a promise to redefine healthcare with empathetic, patient-centered care and clinician well-being.
So in your opinion, how difficult is it for physicians today to focus on patient care versus doing some of the administrative work?
Incredibly difficult, I would say. And this question really gets us to sort of the heart of the matter and the problem itself. Because what's happening today is, clinicians' attention is divided into so much, with documentation on the one hand, compliance metrics on the other, insurance requirements, and so much more. So in a 15 to 20 minutes time that you have for a patient, you actually have to accomplish all of those things, take care of the documentation, and then at the same time take care of the quality metrics, and at the same time sort of navigate EHR complexities and hurdles of reimbursements, and while at the same time delivering a true quality care. So this becomes, of course, increasingly difficult, which is why the quality of care is diluting, which is why the connection and, human factor is basically moving away from healthcare. And that is precisely what needs to be worked on and restored. And that is exactly what we're trying to do with MEDWAY, to establish a system that tackles this complex, multifaceted problem in a way that it addresses most of those challenges and free up physicians' time, make them available, to be present during that encounter with the patient, and to truly focus on the patient, while at the same time, have a work-life balance that they desperately need at the same time.
Exactly. Do you happen to know within, that 15 to 20 minute visit, how much documentation and how much administrative work actually that generates for doctors?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's just some mind-boggling statistics out there. Most studies basically show that for an hour of direct patient care, there's roughly 2 hours of EHR interaction and desk work that physician has to perform in a given day. And there's actually one study that suggests that only 27% of a physician's time is spent in direct patient care. Everything else in a given workday is dedicated to EHRs, documentation, compliance, insurance requirements, and so much more.
Yeah, and that's not even including continuous education to just keep your licensing, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. It's no wonder physicians have burnout today. Do you think this burden on physicians is more pronounced in a hospital setting or a private practice setting?
Both. I would say that is a great question. The important thing to know is even though the challenges, vary somewhat in both of these settings, the essential or the essence of the problem remains the same. In both of these settings, physicians are overwhelmed and overburdened with all of these tasks. So like, for example, in a hospital setting, you would look at more layers of compliance and protocol and institutional mandates. And, physicians spend a vast majority of their time juggling with those things, while taking care of their patients. On the other hand, when you look at clinic practices, for example, the burden becomes a little more sort of personal because you have so much responsibility and you have to wear so many hats, like a business owner, you are a clinician, you are responsible for quality and compliance, and you are responsible to make sure that insurance reimbursements and all of those are taken care of. And in the middle of all of that, to make sure you stay financially solvent and, viable, while at the same time provide the best quality of care, I mean, it's becoming increasingly challenging. And so basically coming back to the point, really, even though the nature and the variety of challenges are potentially different in both of these settings, the essential matter remains the same, that physicians are deeply overburdened and overwhelmed, and really their focus is being taken away from where it should be, to take care of patients. And this is where truly Medway comes in, really to address this problem head on. And, with some intelligent tools and automations to take care of the problems, sort of silently working in the background and automating those processes so that the physician's focus can go back to where it belongs, can go directly back to the patient.
So actually, let's get into Medway. So your solution is actually a set of AI-powered assistants for healthcare providers and their EHR systems. And I must say they're nicely named. So can you kind of walk us through the different assistants that you have and what needs they are addressing?
Sure. Yeah. So the first thing I wanted to say was, a lot of the solutions that are present out there sort of narrowly focus on the AI scribe part. We, on the other hand, think of this dynamic in a little different way. We look at a more holistic approach to the problem because there's multiple challenges that are affecting, the care quality, that are affecting physicians' time, and they are, burdening them. And these challenges, kind of looking at it in entirety, what we're trying to do is really to optimize and automate as much as possible sort of every important intersection between physician and technology. So the first thing that's obvious there is the AI scribe. And what it does is it silently listens in the background while the physician is, talking to the patient. And what it does really is really make the physician present during that encounter. While their focus is not on writing and taking notes and doing things, their focus lies on listening to the patient and interacting and connecting with them. So that's the first thing. And what it does is at the end of that encounter, it generates a structured, accurate, high quality note that the physician can use.
Oh, very good.
Second part that's there is the conversational data retrieval. So what happens is physicians spend a lot of time in their day looking for patient information. So firstly, you have to learn multiple different electronic health record systems. And then even when you know them, you have to spend a lot of time to dig through the information and find them in the, the bins and places where they belong, where it's located. And what we are doing is really allowing physicians to interact with the EHR in a natural language, conversational interface, where they just ask for what they need, as if like, what is their last discharge summary from the hospital,
Right.
or what was their creatinine and kidney function, and whatever they want to ask.
Yeah.
And that information is delivered instantly. And this really empowers them to have the information at their fingertips whenever it's needed. And it really improves, that informed decision making that we are looking for in healthcare.
Yeah, very nice.
The third thing is with regards to quality metrics. And really, the world of quality metrics and reporting is the most frustrating, time-consuming, and challenging part for physicians, where no one has good clarity on how it needs to be done and what happens to it after a physician is done with it, how it's reported, and what's measured, and so forth. And really, the proactive quality management system that we have in place, it really silently tracks care gaps, and provide useful insights in a timely manner with regards to any preventative care tasks that need to be performed, like, a patient needs mammogram, or they need colonoscopy, or, any other useful suggestions there are. And then it ensures that, whenever those tasks are performed, that they are accurately reported sort of in the background in an automatic fashion. Last part is really about interoperability. And this is sort of the emerging paradigm in healthcare where we're headed towards, where really, the true value comes from putting all the pieces together. If a patient was taken care of in one healthcare system or in another state or in another clinic, and, part of that information lies in a lab and, elsewhere. So collecting all of that information, and really our focus is, we're doing that TEFCA-based integration system, but our focus relies on two key parameters. One of that is the timeliness of that information, that there's not, hours or days or weeks, between when that information is sought and it's delivered, but it's really available at the point of care to really augment that decision-making process. And on the other hand, that it's really useful, that, if I need an X-ray result, I don't need to sift through 300 pages of information to find what I'm looking for.
Right.
So really to make it timely and useful. And I think with these tools, really physicians are going to be more present, they're going to be more informed and empowered, and it really elevates care, and at the same time, takes that cognitive load and burden off of the physicians.
I should have asked this probably earlier, but are your solutions really for the physician or for the practice or healthcare system? So who's really purchasing these from you?
So basically, the way we're looking at things is, the essential problem in healthcare system is burdened physicians and fragmented access to information.
Right.
And that's the challenge we are sort of, fighting and tackling head on. Now, even though these tools are used by the physicians directly, the way, looking at it from a consumer or buyer standpoint, really, it is physicians directly. It could be group practices. It could be larger healthcare systems. And really, that's how we have created our technology as well, that it can serve the purpose of a solo physician as well as, enterprises and larger healthcare systems. So really, institutions can get enterprise licenses for their providers to incorporate that into their practice.
Okay, very good. All right, so a lot of your solutions are based on providing patient-centric care, as you've mentioned. Do you mind diving into this core component of your solutions and how you think the assistants are really helping to facilitate better patient care?
Right. The key thing I wanted to emphasize is that patient-centered care is not just a byproduct of what we're building. It's truly the reason why we exist.
Okay.
And so everything we do is centered around that. So, we believe the true value comes from, or better care is performed when physicians are truly present, when they are informed, and when they're empowered. And that is really what we're trying to do. So for example, when we talk about the AI scribe, what it's doing is it's enabling physician to be truly present during that encounter, to be able to listen and interact and connect with the patient. And that alone really changes that perception of that encounter from transactional to meaningful, for the patient. The second part, when we talk about the conversational interface, really, again, it empowers physician with the information in a timely manner. And that really amplifies and augments and supports the decision-making process for the physician, where, when you're fully informed and the all patient data is available to you instantly, it's incredible power in terms of being able to use that information to make precise decisions, reduce errors, and so forth. The same way, in terms of the quality part, it working silently in the background and sort of surfacing important things in a timely manner, like who need preventative care, who may need screening for breast care or lung cancer, or other things like that. And that really ensures that care is delivered in a timely manner. And of course, lastly, the interoperability part, of course, brings the entire story together. That is really the only way, when you have access to a physician information and that flows with the patient, to the patient's information that flows with the patient sort of seamlessly, regardless of where they go to. It's incredibly powerful in terms of like me being a physician to be able to use that information, to make timely decisions. Now, I think this may be becoming even more critical in situations like ERs or situations like that, where ER physicians have to on the go basically take care of the problem, not knowing anything about the patient, and having all of that information available. It could be truly empowering for them. So really, in essence, all of these solutions, even though the tools are used by the patient, the sole purpose of that is to use them so that care quality is elevated, so that patient care improves and outcomes are better.
Oh, very nice. So why do you think there's such a great need in our healthcare system for these types of solutions that MEDWAY provides?
I would say the need is very urgent, and it is right now. When we look at the U.S. healthcare system as a whole, we spend most on healthcare compared to other high-income nations. So really, even though the data varies, but like in excess of $4.5 trillion annually is spent on healthcare. But
crazy number.
Exactly, insanely high number compared to other high-income nations. But on the flip side, what's happening really is that we actually lag behind all of them when it comes to care quality and outcomes and access. And so this is not just frustrating, it's devastating, because we're spending all the resources and not getting, the quality out of there. And really, when you look at the fundamental of it, there's a simple problem that exists there in the background. Systems are inefficient, physicians are overburdened, and patients are underserved. And that's why solutions like MEDWAY are not just, nice to be in the healthcare space that we're moving forward in, but they are becoming truly essential.
Yeah.
So really, to tackle those problems that we're talking about, tackling inefficiency or burnout or elevating patient care, all of these tools that we talked about are going to be essential moving forward, to be incorporated into the system, to make it truly deliver the value that it's supposed to.
Oh, very good. So where do you think the future of the healthcare system in America and AI will go?
Yeah, I think that's a very important question, and sort of all eyes are focused there as where we're headed. I think we are at the beginning of a truly transformative phase in healthcare systems and healthcare overall. I believe AI is going to be that catalyst that is going to drive that transformation to affect the delivery of healthcare, the perception of healthcare, the value of healthcare, and the sustainability of healthcare. Truly, really, what's going to happen is healthcare is going to be more efficient. It's going to be more compassionate, and I think it's going to be deeply human, where AI silently works in the background to enable physicians to do what they're supposed to do. The way I see it, I don't think AI systems taking over the decision-making processes, but I think they are going to be the enablers where they amplify, physicians' clinical judgment and intuition and compassion, truly empowering them there. Now, other areas that we look at, I believe we are going to move from a reactive healthcare system methodologies that we have right now to more proactive and predictive methods where preventative care is prioritized and optimized and automated. At the same time, AI algorithms can read data from wearables and labs and clinical notes and everything to predict the occurrence of certain things where physicians and healthcare systems are more ready and and aware of. In terms of the healthcare workflows, I think I don't see any more role for manual documentation or clicking tabs or waiting for days and weeks sometimes for information to come through. All these processes are going to be taken over by AI-enabled solutions like MEDWAY, for example. I think the other important thing is, dealing with complex EHRs and learning the complexities of things are going to disappear. And really conversational interface like the one that we're working towards is going to be the interface where physicians just interact with and retrieve information that they need to. In terms of interoperability, again, it's going to be truly transformed with AI because AI truly enables that data standardization and, providing seamless ways of, data communication and transfer. And, that dream of having the information that is useful and is available in a timely manner is going to be there. Chronic care management, for example, is going to be more precise and change a lot. And, there's going to be huge developments in drug development process, for example, and cancer treatments and so forth. So really, we're heading to a future that is going to be truly enabled by AI technology. But I think the most critical part of it is going to be that it's deeply human, where the technology is actually enabling the physicians and the healthcare professionals to focus solely on what is important, and that is true patient care.
Yeah. It's funny that you should say that it's going towards a deeply human future by using something that's very digital, AI, right? But I do like the fact that you're talking about it being more proactive rather than reactive, as we have today. All right, so why don't you tell us what is next for MEDWAY?
I think for MEDWAY, we're entering a very exciting time. Up until recently, our focus sort of relied more heavily on our product side, trying to make sure we build something that is truly able to solve the problem and the challenges we are set out to tackle and take care of. And after validating that on the front lines, and knowing the value of the product and the way, the users love it, I think now our focus has shifted on mainly towards going to market with that. So the first thing I would say is that we have built an incredible team that includes experts from all areas, including domain expertise in clinical, workflows and clinician think tanks and things like that. But in addition to that, AI technology, operations and distribution and growth strategy. We have experts in all that front. And that is truly important, even though the technology by itself may be powerful, but providing that framework is important. So we have all of that in place now. And so really, we're sort of laser focused on our go-to-market strategy right now, prioritizing strategic partnerships. And, in that regard, I would mention that it's pretty exciting for us that we're actually co-developing with an EHR. And that is really true potential of Medway is unlocked, because really what's frustrating for physicians or clinicians in general is to move from one screen to another and do copy paste and do whatnot. So all of that, really doing it in a single interface that they interact with, is going to be truly empowering. And I think there's going to be more updates on that coming soon, and that's going to be very exciting. In addition to that, we are actually in active conversations with some institutional partners, and we're talking about like university healthcare systems. And even though those discussions are sort of in the early phase, we're positive of the best outcome there. And really, that is going to be truly transformational, not just for Medway itself, but the healthcare industry as a whole, when that happens. And I think it's not a question of if at this point, it's a question of when that happens. Lastly, I would say is, as we are, going into the market, what we've noticed is that clinicians truly love our product. And that is really the most important thing for us, to have that validation from the frontline physicians who are using it. Later this year, more towards the end of this year, we are preparing to go to our seed funding round. So of course, we're preparing that, for that as well. So really the future is very bright, and very, very excited about moving forward with Medway.
Yeah, it sounds like you're on the right path and you're taking all of the right steps. So I wish you all the luck in your seed round. Thank you so much for your time today, Zaman. I really enjoyed our discussion on using AI to help doctors focus more on patients as well as avoid physician burnout. For more information about either Disrupt Health Tech or Medway, please see the links below. Thank you so much for attending today, and see you next episode.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you so much.